Your little experiment is worthless, my wife's mom, the boss, declared in front of everyone at the meeting. Her voice cut through the polished glass conference room like a blade, cold and certain. The papers in front of her slid across the table with finality, and as my pen scratched against the dotted line, my phone buzzed in my pocket. It was her, the woman who wasn't my wife, the woman who wasn't supposed to exist in my world of carefully constructed lies. The text was short, just 4 words. I need you tonight. For a moment, I froze, the pen trembling in my hand. My wife sat 3 seats down from me, her back perfectly straight, eyes pinned on her mother. The CEO, the powerhouse who had built this company brick by brick and never let anyone forget it. My wife looked so much like her mother when she was angry. Sharp jawline, controlled expression, lips pressed into silence. But she wasn't angry now. She was proud that I was sitting here, being trusted enough to sign documents that tied me further into the family empire. Proud that her husband was becoming a fixture in their world. But my chest ached with the secret pressing against me, because the woman waiting on the other end of that text wasn't a stranger. She wasn't just some fling. She was someone who had become a mirror, a confessional, a spark that burned in all the places my marriage had gone dim. It had started almost a year earlier. Back then, the late nights at the office were justified. My wife was always busy, launching new projects, flying out for negotiations, making herself indispensable to her mother. I admired her ambition, truly, but it left me alone more often than not. And then came Claire. Claire wasn't part of the boardroom, wasn't from that cold marble world. She was hired as a consultant for a project I was managing, a quiet presence with warm eyes and an easy laugh, where my wife's affection came like quarterly reports, scheduled, polished, and efficient. Claire's came like music, unplanned, imperfect, full of life. It began with coffee breaks, then long conversations after hours, her hand brushing mine as she handed me notes, my heart hammering like I was a teenager again. One night, when the rain pinned us inside the office and the city outside blurred into streaks of light, I kissed her, and I didn't stop. The guilt was constant, a second shadow. Every dinner with my wife tasted like betrayal. Every look from her mother felt like she could see right through me. And yet, every time Claire whispered that she needed me, I went. Tonight was no different. After the meeting, after the champagne to celebrate the signing, after my wife squeezed my hand and said how proud she was, I found an excuse. I told her I needed to review some files, to stop by the office. She kissed my cheek and let me go. Claire was waiting in the small apartment she rented near the river. The moment she opened the door, the world shifted. Her hair was damp from a shower, her shirt loose, her eyes pulling me in like gravity itself. She didn't ask about the meeting, didn't ask about the papers. She just pulled me inside, her arms wrapping around me, her lips silencing all the words I couldn't say. With her, I wasn't the husband failing at perfection. I wasn't the son-in-law under the watchful gaze of CEO. I wasn't a man walking a tightrope between expectation and desire. With her, I was just me, but every high has its edge. As we lay tangled together, the city lights slipping across the ceiling, my phone buzzed again. This time it wasn't Claire. It was my wife. Where are you? Mom says she needs the signed copies back tonight. My chest tightened. The truth clawed at me, begging to be released. But lies are addictive. Once you begin, they multiply to cover the cracks. I'll be there soon. I typed back, my hand shaking. Claire turned toward me, studying my face. You're going back to her, aren't you? She whispered. Her voice carried no accusation, only sadness. I have to, I admitted, and the words tasted like betrayal of us both. She nodded, biting her lip. I knew you'd never leave her. Not really. Her resignation cut deeper than anger ever could. By the time I returned home, the documents were neatly stacked on the kitchen counter. My wife stood there waiting, barefoot, her hair tied back, her eyes sharp in a way that made my stomach drop. Was the office busy? She asked, voice deceptively calm. Yes, I lied. Just some last-minute checks. Her gaze held mine a moment too long. Then she smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Good, because Mom's watching you closely. Don't forget that. Later that night, when she was asleep beside me, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. My heart was split in two worlds, one of duty, of power, of the empire I had married into, and one of stolen moments, of laughter and warmth, of a woman who saw me for who I was, not who I was expected to be. The papers were signed, the ink permanent. My future with this family was sealed. But as I closed my eyes, I realized the truest thing in my life wasn't written in contracts or whispered in boardrooms. It was a trembling text that still burned on my phone screen. I need you tonight. And God help me, I needed her too.